EBS Invest. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Let's jump into the video. So today we're talking about Apple or Apple Inc. Um, Apple Computers was founded in April 1st, 1971 by Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, who brought the new company to a vision of changing the way people viewed computers and personal handheld devices. Um, they wanted to make computers small enough for people to have in their homes or offices. So Apple, I'm sure everyone knows it. It's the biggest company in the world. It has a market cap of 2.38 trillion. It is a very big company. And Apple, I'm sure all of you guys know Apple. They make smartphones. Maybe you're watching this on an Apple device or you use an Apple device, but I think needless to say, a lot of people know Apple. And so we're just going to take a little look at their stock today and just do a little analysis. And so for Apple, we're looking at a PE ratio 23.91. That is a little high. That's an X right there. It should be below 21. For me personally, looking at a market cap of $2.3 trillion. It has a beta of 1.9, so it's a little bit above the NASDAQ average. It offers a 0.6% dividend, which I think has a 15% payout ratio, so they're going to be increasing that dividend. So this is a nice growth dividend stock for the long term. It has an earning per share of 6.15, and it has currently 16 billion shares outstanding. And yeah, so now we're going to check out the revenue for Apple. I like to see revenue so people can kind of understand what they're making money from. So Apple makes 52% of their revenue from iPhone sales. They make 18% from services, so that's like your iCloud, um, products like that. Your wearables in home, so that's like your Apple Watch, your Home Pods, and then we have the iPad and the Mac. And so I think the only thing I see this as kind of a risk is Apple is really reliant on iPhone sales. I know they're trying to diversify into these, but it's something to be aware about that if for some odd reason people don't want iPhones anymore, which I don't think they will in the near future, but hypothetically, if they don't, I think you definitely want to keep an eye on those iPhone sales because that is a very large chunk of their revenue. So looking at their revenue here, we're looking at a total of $365 billion, and it's grown over the past 4 years, so that's a check. We're looking at a gross profit of that has been increasing. This could have been due to COVID. A lot of people got those stimmies and spent a lot of money on Apple, but I think you can see 101 to 104 pre-COVID, so I think these are good numbers. Apple does spend, they're increasing research and development, so that's an X right there. We want research and development to be a little bit lower generally. But you can see they walk away pretty happy with a net income of $94 billion positive. So I think that is pretty good. I think Apple is a very strong company, so I don't think you're going to be out too much. Cash flow, they do have some depreciation. It's not too bad. Their liabilities are minimal, and it looks to be like a pretty solid run company. So let's go into the Apple stock chart analysis. So Apple is one of Buffett's biggest holdings. You can tell why. I mean, this is a very nice, attractive stock. But Apple in recent months has come down quite a lot, and so has a support line. So it's in a bear flag here, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about. We're gonna go to the doodle here, and you can see that it's hit the top right here, hit the top, and then it bounced down, bounced, hit the resistance line, and it bounced, and then it's here, right here. So currently if you look at the S&P 500, so if we let's see, SPY, So you can see the S&P 500 has dropped as well in this bear flag, and so a lot of companies have as well. But I think once the S&P 500 turns around, we can see it finally go back. But I think if you were to ask me what is my prediction, I think so. We are in this bear flag here, and I personally think um, I'm not a day trader by any means, but this is just my personal stock analysis. I think Apple will bounce up, will go into this range, which and then potentially it may come down. But I think as Apple continues, I think we'll get a little bit of bouncing, maybe a few more drops. Once the market corrects itself, I think Apple will probably um, potentially hit new highs here. Sorry, this is not the most clear cut, but maybe some consolidation and then on to new highs. It's really hard to tell. This is a very small bear flag. As you guys can see, it's not the biggest. It's still consolidating, and it could consolidate for a while, but it also really does depend on what the S&P 500 does down here. If the S&P continues to fall, I don't think it'd fall that much, but you get what I'm saying. If it continues to fall, and then consolidation happens, and then we finally go back, I think Apple, since it is the biggest holding in the S&P 500 and one of the biggest holdings in the stock market, I think it'll follow the S&P pretty well and, and then turn around. So that is my Apple stock analysis. So I think really any price um, below right here is pretty solid. So we're gonna go into here, and this is my new stock analysis tool, so you can see the intrinsic value here. So we're gonna go here, and then we go to analysis, and then we just need to find the growth rate here. So we can see that the next year growth rate is looking to be at about 6.7%, but it also has a 5-year of 9.9. I'm going to be conservative, and I'm going to bring this up to 7.5%. So I think Apple potentially could be overvalued, but if we take into the account of the 9.9% growth rate that it is potentially expecting, then I think Apple is pretty well valued here. So I think it's really just depends. Once we get over this year, I think consumer spending has dropped, and you can see that they're adding more. Sorry, guys. I think as consumer spending is dropping here due to the potential recession, so I think that's maybe why this is lower. You can see, but I think honestly a 9.9 or even a 9.0, $150, I think that's pretty fair. I'd say your buy price, you'll probably want to target the 130, and so I would label this as a buy, but currently it's at 147, so I'd probably go buy hold. I think as the market continues to drop, you're going to see that price come back down into the 130s, and you should be able to pick up some shares for cheap. But if you think the current economy is going to be pretty sluggish for the next few months and a 7% growth rate, or even a 7.5, it's not a buy at all. So it's really has to depend, but I think Apple is one of the biggest companies. It is the biggest company in the world, to my knowledge, and it makes great products. I mean, this company isn't going bankrupt anytime soon, guys. This company has billions of dollars in cash, can pay off their debt. They have a growing dividend, so I think the 9% is pretty accurate. So I think a value of $150 is pretty nice, or to 160. And so let's just check over here with the forecast, see how mine was guessing. So I was a little bit on the low side. I was expecting a little bit lower growth, as you could tell. I do like to be conservative with my numbers because some analysts predict Apple's going to grow more. But even on the low side, this stock still has some pickup and the average of a 191. And so I think honestly Apple is a buy as long as you get it in that 130 range or below. but Apple is a premium company, so you may potentially have to pay a premium for it, is something to consider. I also would like to point out the 15% payout ratio and the 7% dividend growth, which means they're only 14% is going to pay in the dividends. So that's very, very, very healthy. So this is a very strong buy. So I would label this company Apple a buy, but I would personally wait for that price to come down because we've had a nice little bull run, but you can see the stock came down and I bought a lot right in here. I'll keep it real with you guys. And then now it's finally coming out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I would target Apple at 132. Please let me know if you have any questions. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.